Hello everyone, Fifi and Sam here for another Midweek Musings. It's been quite an eventful weekend. So there was the worldwide rallies everywhere. It's been great, like catching up on the footage for that. I couldn't make it down to London for this one, but roving reporter Sam was there in the middle of it all. So yeah, how was it?
It was really good. I mean, the atmosphere was brilliant. I met like loads of people, quite a lot of standers.
As
Said hello
always.
to. Yeah, no, it's brilliant. It's always really nice to kind of meet everyone and have hugs, and particularly, people that you chat to online that you finally get to kind of meet in the flesh and be like, like, it was lovely. And yeah, the whole atmosphere of the day was brilliant. Like, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I always enjoy it, but the turnout did leave a lot to be desired, as we've, as I sort of said, I was sort of expecting, as we're all kind of expecting. I mean, I was stood towards the end of the actual march. I was stood on the side. I was trying to gather up everyone I came with, because we were going back a little bit early, because we obviously had our party. But yeah, we were trying to find everybody, because we obviously all got separated. We was trying to gather everyone back up together so we could get the train. And I was stood there, and you could see the front and the back of the march as I was stood on the pavement. I was just like,
was that
far cry?
Because was that
far cry from
not
this time
everyone
last year,
from the actual rally joined the march, possibly? Because
so after all the speeches, we all sort of did this march, whether some people kind of left after the rally or whatever, but it was sort of quite like, but there was actually, I think, I do think there may have been some people that would have been put off by the timing of this one, and obviously all the events that are happening at the moment. Obviously Fiona Rose Diamond did a video saying that actually we're not going anywhere near any of that. We're completely separate. We're not diluting the message, that kind of thing. Which I was reassured by, because I, for one, didn't want to go anywhere near any of that, because there are still people in their little bubbles of all hail the monarchy. But yeah, we did get quite, there was quite a good response from passers-by. A lot of people were handing out leaflets and light papers and chatting to people, and there was a really good response. I posted the video by Alice.
That's another great one from Alice.
Yeah, in the group. So it was a great video, and she had a few chats with people that weren't a part of the rally that she was talking to. And there were quite a few people that are actually quite appreciative of us being out on the streets, which I found really, really positive, to know that even if obviously these rallies they're never broadcast on mainstream media. Always the Extinction Rebellion and all the other ones,
of course,
they're broadcast everywhere.
The ones that are paid for by
but obviously our ones that had upwards of 1 million people, never made it, and you never expect it to.
Endorsed by the powers that be. So
to know that we are still being seen by the people that are there, and that these people are, it seems to be that the tide of public opinion is starting to change, even in the current climate of that particular weekend and everything that's going on. That people were still quite supportive of the reason that we're out. I did find there were a few people, when you're sort of, marching for freedom, there's a lot of people that are kind of like, but you've got freedom. You're marching through the streets of London. You've got freedom. What more do you want? And it's kind of like, and it's like there's just not enough time in the world to kind of try and explain to these people that actually there is nothing about our society that's free. There is definitely an illusion of freedom that is enough to kind of keep people in their place. Like, this illusion of choice, this illusion of being able to freely make a choice and freely kind of, but it's all orchestrated, it's all engineered. the reality is that the kind of true freedom that, you know, those of us that are marching for kind of have this grasp of, it does seem to be beyond the realms of some people.
It's a shift, isn't it, in awareness and consciousness, that kind of thing. I think a lot of those people have this idea of, you know, far-flung countries with tyrannical dictators, that, and what they're not seeing is that's what they want for us. Actually, that's the design.
And we are edging closer and
Oh,
closer to it, you know, the
yeah,
net's
without a
closing in,
doubt.
but obviously it's far easier to get a nation of people to succumb if that's done quietly, with little steps, piece of paper by piece of
Totalitarian
paper.
tiptoe. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's far easier
Mm.
than just, bringing down the
Yeah.
shutters and going, this is your life,
Mm.
it's so yeah. But no, overall it was a really nice day. I really enjoyed it. We went across Tower Bridge. I've got a few photos of great big yellow smiley face flags,
Yeah.
like brightening up Tower Bridge. I took quite a lot for my kids because my daughter in particular is doing about landmarks at the moment. So I took quite a few,
Oh.
and she was ever so excited when I got home and showed her all of us kind of, marching along Tower Bridge. She was like, oh, that's amazing. She was like, yellow smiley face flags.
Mm.
And yeah, she was quite excited. And yeah, it was a good day. I just think obviously the impact of these rallies, you can be much larger the more people you have, and that goes for the big rallies. It also goes for, the outreach that many of us are
Mm.
doing, weekly. I think there are a lot of people out there that are out on the streets, and they are trying to kind of raise
Yeah.
awareness and, of what's going on. But obviously with anything that you're doing, the more people that are involved, the more impact that you make, because it's like, oh, there's actually quite a lot of
Mm.
people, like,
Mm.
and it does make people more inclined to kind of listen to what you've got to say, or
Mm.
and it gives more weight to what you're saying. I think the more people you have, but as we discussed before, I think that time will come again, and
Oh,
until
yeah.
then, there are those of us, a few thousand of us, like hardcore, that will continue to march on,
Yeah,
and
just
keep
keep
doing it.
the embers burning. I do think it's going to be
Um,
fairly soon that I'm in a bit of a resting place. It's like because I know, and like having obviously been involved in it all last year, the massive ones, and it takes it out of you. So I kind of know what's
I do
coming.
quite like not doing that sort of thing, just turning up and
It's
having a
so
great day.
lovely to actually just turn up to the worldwide ones and just
Yeah.
be a regular, like just another punter, and not have that sort of responsibility of the day like on your shoulders, along with others obviously that are doing this kind of thing. But yeah, it's I'm sort of in that prep mode, and I can see that as things progress in a certain direction, then it's going to become more and more obvious. It's this weird thing where you don't want this to be happening, obviously, but you're aware that it needs to, in order for the remaining, you know,
Yeah.
majority still to
I
really
think,
be
yeah,
it, for it to be.
majority are fence sitters, I think.
There are a
And
lot of, yeah, and we've said, haven't we, over and over, it's the I'm all right, Jack mentality. That's, I'm still able to have a semblance of normalcy. So therefore I'll just sort of be over here doing my thing and living my life, and I don't need to get involved. And it's when it comes knocking on your door that prompts people, doesn't it, into getting involved. And that's when that's why I think the numbers that we'll see will far outnumber anything before, because they've moved into, this is another thing. Before it was lockdowns, it's mandate, all these like very draconian rules and regulations and stuff. This is it's the breakdown of society now, the society that we know and that people still want to kind of cling to, as we've seen with the, you know,
Yes.
it's this hanging on to something that is no longer viable. It's not even, I mean, even in its day, it hasn't worked like for the vast majority actually. But as these things do sort of fall away as it's designed, you know, so therefore you've then got this, you know, when all the businesses are gone, the small to medium business, ownership, you know, they don't want us to own anything, but we'll be happy about it apparently, with them owning it all.
Static.
It's in your
Ecstatic.
face, you know, at that point it's not something you can sort of opt in or opt out of. It's there, this is what they're doing. And so that's why I think it's that sort of forget conspiracy theory, blah blah, all of that stuff. It's the bridge where it affects everyone,
Yeah.
and it's absolutely there, there's no denying it. And
I have actually found recently there are a lot of people that are fully aware of this like digital currency and banking system that they're trying to usher in.
the
Whereas a
bill,
year ago, there was a lot of people that were like, "Oh no, that'll never happen here. Don't be daft. That's that's silly.
that's been
No,
said
that's not going
about
to
a lot,
happen."
hasn't it?
Yeah, and now, I mean, I was out shopping yesterday, and I was in a shop, and all their internet and electronics were down, and they were like, "Oh, it's cash only." I was like, "No, that's good. I only ever pay cash anyway." And
Yeah,
so I launched into my little speech about, that I often
good.
do when I'm paying in cash,
Mm-hmm.
to let people know, about why I'm paying cash. And
Yeah,
yeah, the woman behind, she was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I know, yeah." Um, and that's I mean, it's quite good
that's what
that people are
actually,
aware of
yeah,
that.
I did mention in my live on Sunday that I've seen quite a few posts, and we've seen it ourselves, in shops, more people queuing for
Yes, that's happening
actual
too.
human manned tills. And also we went to a cafe, and the cashier said to Andy that, oh, more because he's using cash. Oh, a lot of people are using cash at the moment. So there's something,
Positive sign,
and
isn't
this
it?
was not, this isn't some kind of like alternative
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
place where it's very um yeah, sort of middle England kind, you know, that kind of place. But I think it is happening, like people are clocking on to where this is sort of heading, and they don't want it. But yeah, it's very much, I've noticed as well, but with the whole sort of crypto thing, there's the bill, isn't there, that they're trying to usher through, where, because at the moment it's obviously whatever you think about it, it is this decentralized
Yeah,
system that's kind of out of the reach of the power brokers, which obviously
yeah,
they're not happy about. So they're trying to put this bill through where they're basically, it's the bank, isn't it, the Bank of England over here, that will have this, they want control of that. um so it's, yeah, I'm not sure about the whole crypto thing myself as a way.
no, I don't really know much
It's,
about
I
it, and
think we
my
still
brain isn't
need,
wired to
no,
understand
I
that
think maybe a
kind of stuff.
combination of, but we need physical cash, because like as you said, when this system goes down, oh well, sorry, we've got no way of, I mean, I can't see how it could ever possibly work
No.
actually. In, you know, looking at it, just the pitfalls, the, I mean, it just, something else would spring up in its place, it would have to. So I kind of see them as, you know, some people think they're this all powerful, you know, they've got everything. Very often I think it's that the dam is sort of bursting, they're running around trying to plug their
Oh, I
fingers
totally
in.
agree. Yeah, I totally
Yeah,
agree. I think I do think, what we're going to see over the next sort of 6 months or whatever is just it to me, it does very much feel like these last throws, like desperate throws of kind of trying to keep their grip on
yeah,
humanity.
yeah,
But actually, there's so many of us that are just freeing ourselves from it and going, no, you've got no power over me. My mind will no longer be programmed and
yeah,
manipulated. Like, move
yeah,
along, like, so yeah.
yeah.
There's a lot of positive stuff still out there. I know,
There
there's
always is.
a lot of people that are still I think very much in the throes of fear and concern over the next few months. And obviously there's been this mention of a date, and there's a lot of
Oh,
hoo-ha about a particular date that's coming up, and it, as you said earlier, it never really does come to anything. And it's kind of, again, it could just be another distraction of put your focus here, look here, rather than sort of what we need to be doing. So yeah, I always struggle with stuff.
yeah. I mean, it's well, you just have to look at your own reaction and others. You can see when there's that panic. It's like, okay, so you're still being controlled,
Yeah,
and this is why we keep banging on about going within, getting centered, getting so you're not constantly being pulled this way and that, because just the sheer amount of information out there, whether it's accurate or not, is just, yeah, you're just continually being, look here, look there, look that. And it's like, well, where are you in all of this? You're fragmented. You're not getting any kind of intuitive guidance, or whereas, yeah, if you were sort of in that space of calm and quiet, you hear that there might be this date or whatever, and you're going to have that intuition as to whether, oh yeah, I'm feeling pulled to do this or that, but it's not from this
yeah.
panicked, fearful state.
I think it very much it comes down to there's inspirational quote thing, about there are lots of things that happen that you can't control. All you can control is your reaction to it. And I think particularly I got to this point quite a few months ago of, there's a whole heap of shit coming at us that actually for the most part we have no control over.
Yeah.
All we can really do is control how that feels within us, what we do about it, and how we react to it. And I've sort of been coming from this place of making preparations,
Yeah.
as best as I can, and then kind of, that case of whatever will be will be. I'll do what I can, and to prepare, and to do the warning of people, and play my part and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, it is very much about, it is going to hit the fan, and there's not really a lot we can actually do to stop it. So, to continually be swept up in the panic and the fear and
Yeah.
the extreme emotions of this is going to happen is kind of just forcing more suffering on ourselves. There's
Yeah.
enough going on, to kind of.
And it's actually creating more, because what we think, everything's vibrating on an energetic level, and that's what we're creating our experience, and you're kind of emanating is going to dictate what you see out there. So there's a whole other reality for someone else. You're looking at the same thing, but seeing something completely and utterly different. If you are really fearful and panicky and always, assuming the worst, that's what you'll be given, because that's what you expect. That's what you assume. It's the law of assumption rather than the law of attraction. It's you will see or experience what you assume, and often it is unconscious. It's not that we're all going around, you know, consciously saying this. I mean, we do have an internal dialogue, but a lot of this is, you know, it's under the surface. And that's what you start to realize when you do sort of go within and start looking at this. And, you know, what are these patterns that I'm constantly seeing, you know, playing out, and what are the triggers and like the story of our lives that's just, oh, this again, you know. And all of that is kind of, it's a reflection, but you don't have the possibility to look at any of that or work through it, transcend it, or, you know, just even recognize it when you're bombarded. And they know all of this. This is what this constant distraction is. Stop them, for God's sake, realizing what they actually are and what their power is. And that actually, when they shift their focus and the energies on that and not this, oh my God, because we're feeding the beast unwittingly all the time. We've said it over and over. It's not about being a Pollyanna and la, like actually quaking inside, but I don't want to look at that, so I'll just pretend it's not happening. It's not that. It's that you've seen it. Yeah, there it is. But I'm choosing to not feed this, and I'm going to create this in its place. And then you haven't got that whole battle, you know, raging. It's within, really. And you're not going to see it out there then. And you will see, like you say, there's so many really great things happening out there, but you're not going to hear about them if you're like this. Oh, all you're going to get is more confirmation. Yes, it's a horror show. It's, you know, it's a nightmare. It's coming for you. There's no end in sight, blah, blah, blah. There is an element of, you know, all the disruption stuff, because we are going through that transition. We are vibrating out of those lowest states. So even, you know, unless you're really, really, really on it, you know, whatever it is, like meditating and getting yourself into that place, we are going to experience levels of, you know, it'll be different for everyone, but levels of this like huge disruption. We don't like change, none of us. Like, even when we know, we don't want that, but we're used to it. It's all we kind of know. And even this wonderful thing, we just want to flip straight into it without any kind of it's not going to work that way for most of us, because if you haven't got the peace in here.
No, that's true. I think the simplest sort of way out of it is very much just trying to kind of be in the present moment and be in the life that you want. And it is relatively simple. So hard to do this morning.
That this morning. Yeah, sorry, go on.
I think because Saturday, I was very much, you know, it was very much in the present, and I you know, from the rally, and then obviously the freedom party that we had in Basingstoke, which was just but it was a day where I felt very, very peaceful, and actually, you know, really kind of, I'm trying to think of the right words. You have to bear with me. I said to you earlier, I'm really tired. Right. My brain is just like, can't think of words. But just maybe like home with who I was. Sort of doing the rally in the daytime.
Piece. Yeah.
And then, you know, the party in the evening was just amazing. Like, a few people said to me when they went through the door and just looking, I think there was about 60 or 70 of us maybe, but just going through and knowing that everybody in that room was all on the same page. Like they just the atmosphere that was there, and the feeling between all of us was just, you know, and I just found myself feeling so relaxed, and it was very, very easy to just be present and just enjoy being with my tribe, my people, and it was really freeing, really freeing.
If we can
I also,
extend that to those
yes,
times that we don't want to be experiencing it actually, but the power comes when you can sit with it and allow, and
yeah,
often that's when things disperse. Like actually just the process of allowing it to be there takes the fuel out of it massively. Maybe not entirely, it won't just go and be gone, but just that it's the resistance. What you resist persists is the saying, isn't it? So anytime you're trying to push something away and pretend it's not happening, or you just, whatever it is, your little way of, not actually allowing something to be, the radical acceptance, isn't it? And that's when you
I
get
think
that energy.
I think also it is something very powerful about that physical being
Oh
together.
yeah.
It certainly is, as I say, the atmosphere in the room was just lovely, and there is that you can, these are people I chat to quite a lot, online anyway, and there are, you can do all of that, but actually there's something really, really powerful about everyone just being together in the physical. It's much easier to then be present than when you're having these
It
conversations
shifts. It's an
online, and
actual, yeah,
it
it's an
is
actual thing. I mean, it reminds me of that, where you can see it physically. What are those little things that tick, not a pendulum, but I forget what they're
the
called.
little ball
The
things.
little, it's like a ticking, it goes from side to side.
Oh,
And
they like acoustic music things that keep
something
time.
like, yeah,
I can't remember what they're
and you can
called.
have like a whole group of them, but it just shows about resonance and how things work. And when you've got, 10 of these things and 9 of them are all going in the same direction, and you've got one that's going the opposite, after not very much time, that one that's going in the opposite direction syncs up. So you see how the dominant frequency affects, and we're exactly the same. It's that's how things are. So when you are, this is why they don't want us meeting in big groups, because there is such power to it. I mean, even Jesus said it, but when you meet more, I always get these things wrong because I'm not remotely religious, but if 2 or more, 3 or more meet in my name, that kind of energy. And so yeah, when you're meeting up, and again, with the big protests, that this is what another bill that they're trying to push through, where you can't protest because they know it's about the energy
The
that
energy.
draws in. And if that's, you've got it huge where you are on that same wavelength, then it has a massive impact, a huge influence, and the ripples, like you couldn't try to measure it, but it has a massive impact that you will maybe never see. I mean, we feel it when we're there and we're together, and they are so high vibe, even though it's such a serious kind of reason that we're coming together. There's always that overwhelming sense of togetherness, unity. It's in the name of freedom. We kind of, it always becomes this celebration of being together because of that energy. So yeah, we were chatting before, weren't we, about the power of actually being with others physically. It's why the stands are still so important, because you're making that energetic imprint.
Yeah.
And plus, last week we had 4 new people at my stand,
Brilliant.
which is, yeah, it's great. So we're still getting new people coming, and they will, as things are sort of moving. God, these keep falling out. More people are going to be seeking us out. I had someone email as well, a new person about coming
Yeah, I get a lot
this
as well.
week. So we've sort of doubled our numbers now, which is great.
It is. It is, and I think, you know, we are living in a world where there is this. I don't think it can be denied, even by people that don't see the big picture, that actually there is this definitive move to separate us all, to stop us
Yeah.
from being these social creatures that we
Mm-hmm.
are naturally, inherently. We want to be together.
Yeah.
You know, there's this drive for, even though the COVID narrative is kind of, you know, waning, and the restrictions have gone, there are still schools, there are still businesses that are continuing with these online meetings. There are
Yeah.
still,
They've
you know, it's kind
normalized
of
it.
made a lot of people kind of just, oh well, I'm fine sitting at home. I'll
Yeah.
just chat to people online. We can just have video meetings, and you
Yeah.
know, it'll all be okay. But the drive is there to really
Mm,
separate us, and I think I am kind of inclined sometimes, because life does
I
just,
am.
you know, there's always so much to do, and
Mm,
sometimes you just don't have the energy. You're just like, no, I'm quite happy just sitting at home, like, you know.
yeah. Shut the
But
world
I,
out.
I love the Sunday stands because it gets me out, and
Yeah.
you know, actually, you know, back in that physical presence of a group
Mm,
of other people that I can, you know, chat to and whatever. And yeah, I think I do think there is just still so much riding on, you know, us actually still continuing to follow our natural instincts to
yeah.
be together.
Mm,
Um, so yeah, I think, yeah, and obviously, yeah, the rallies are important, but I would say, after my party on Saturday, to anybody, you know, it doesn't have to all be completely focused on, you know, the outreach or the preparation or the learning, or all of that stuff. It is sometimes just enough to come together, just to be together, and
yeah.
just to enjoy being together. That is just, for me anyway, in the way I kind of see things and feel about things, that actually is just as powerful to simply be together, enjoying being
It
together.
is.
um
And
and
this
it
is
did need the whole
why,
world.
yeah, it does. And this is, look, it's very simple. Anything they don't want you to be doing, do it. Do the opposite. It's very simple. You can just look at anything they're pushing and do the opposite. So this is why I say about fear and stuff. They want us in a permanent state of fear and anxiety over the future and worrying about this, that, blah, blah. They want us totally focused on physical survival. They want us, our attention here, there. No. So you know that, and it's challenging because, you know, they know what they're doing, and they trigger us, and we're looking at actual, you know, for some survival fit. But if you can somehow go against that, go, no, I'm not going to live in fear. I'm going to look at this right in the eyes, and I'm going to get through it. I'm going to move past that. I'm not going to be held down, boot on my face, and give them what they want. You know, I feel quite belligerent about it. It's like, no,
Yeah, I
that's
think, yeah,
reason
anyone who's
enough.
introvert and likes their, it's kind of like,
Don't give them, yeah, don't give them what they
so that
want.
a great meme of the bird that's on the edge of the sea, and it's like, don't do that, me.
Oh yeah, I
The
love
toe
that.
in the water. I like that one. Every time I see it, it makes me
I
smile, because
know.
that
I
is a bit
put
like,
that one. It's like that's
I don't
it.
feel like doing that, but you know what? I'm going to do it anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. Go against, because that's where you'll find the answers of what we really want. You know, of how what is natural is anything, anything that they are trying to get you, you know, in the opposite direction. So it is live life online, don't meet and greet, you know, all of this stuff. It's because they know exactly what happens when we do come together, and it doesn't matter about the superficial differences like we see within the stands and on the protests and stuff. You can have loads of differing views and opinions. You've lived totally different life. It doesn't matter. online you can get into all these spats and disagreements over silly little things. When you're with that person in the flesh, you're on a totally, there they are, and it's very energetic, you know, you all of this is unconscious, and you've just got this desire to be in harmony with someone. Not all the time, they're going to be those people that you're just like, oh no, that's fine, go and speak to someone else. But it is a very different thing. You're far more likely to see your common ground when you're actually with someone than when you're hiding behind the keyboard and getting into these things. And they know that. They know that. So yeah, like the parties, anything at all where you are getting together, but especially when you've got that in common, that, you know, you want to live free, it's huge. So
yeah, well, I'm definitely going to organise another one.
Definitely. Yeah, I've got a couple to get lined up before Christmas. Can't believe we're even
can't say the C word in September.
I know, it's
the year's just gone. I don't know what's happened.
No, it just, yeah, it does feel like time's sped up at times, doesn't it? As it has now, because we're running out of time as usual.
We are.
You've been nattering away, and yeah, we've only got a couple of minutes left before this cuts out. So is there anything else that we need to, I'm trying to think, is there?
Don't think so. Although, to be fair, whatever, if we've missed anything, a couple of minutes isn't really long enough.
No, it's not. Yeah, that's it then.
Yeah, get out there, be together. Be together. That is my message to everybody.
Yeah, don't
enjoy being together.
Yeah, exactly. So with that, have a lovely rest of the day, evening, whatever time it is that this is going out, and we will speak to you very soon.
Lots of love to everybody.
See